Michael Hyland, my name. Teacher here in 1957, October 20th, 1957. Spent 41 years teaching here, and the last 10 as principal.
So this is the library here?
The boarding school was in existence when I left. Shortly after that it closed.
What year did it close?
A couple of years after I left in 98, probably 2002 I'd imagine. That'd be about right.
What kind of books are in the library here?
This is the library. Well, they're mostly books that priests donated and bishops donated to the college. And you'll find very few medical books or agricultural science books and anything like that. But there's lots of religious books.
They're mostly religious, of the religious nature.
And we have books actually on the backs of doors, as you see over there. Just the ends of books.
Bookends, yeah.
In order to make it look like a complete library. But there's loads of encyclopedia as well, books of knowledge. But it wasn't a place where students came to actually study. The ridiculous thing about it is that I was here in my first year, 1957, 1958. I was actually studying in this room with the higher diploma. It's a beautiful room.
Beautiful room, yeah.
And well kept. Father Alman contributes an awful lot to the upkeep of this school. Without him, the birds would be flying in through the broken windows. That's for certain.
What's the future of this building?
Good question. If you can find anybody interested, send them to us, because the church really has no further use for it. And educationally, unless it became a higher college of education, which I would hope it would be, or branch of the college in Athlone, or level college in Athlone. And it's ideally suited for research in agriculture with 300 acres up back there.
300 acres.
300 acres, woodland, and sport and leisure would possibly be another use for it. Residential area. I always thought that research and development should be happening here now at second and third level, or even beyond.
This is the library, yeah? Which room is this now?
This is the throne room.
And why do they call it the throne room?
Well, one of the kings of England was supposed to come here on his tour. What the hell was his name now? George IV.
George IV.
And George came as far as Dublin. And I'm afraid George had a great time in Dublin. There was too much wenching and too much drinking and stuff like that. And he forgot to come here. But in actual fact, they had a throne built here, where this bookcase is now. They had everything was ready, in readiness for him, but the man never arrived, and the room has been called the throne room. Now, its use was for the president of the college. He had his office up here, and as teachers we used to come up here for meetings and sit around this beautiful room, which was never overheated, I must say, as you could expect. But we had many meetings concerning timetables and staffing and all kinds of stuff. But we gradually moved down. When we got the Madden Block in 1964, we left here and went down. So it became more or less a visitor's room.
What was it like to work in an institution like this?
This was a fabulous place.
Yeah.
You'd love this place from the moment you came as a teacher, because everybody was so decent and reasonable and fair, and particularly Father Louis Page, who was a top guy. He understood more about, the human nature than anybody that I've ever met in the past. And he could converse with everybody from agriculture. He was very clever. From horticulture. He had a knowledge of plants and weeds and stuff, which was amazing. He had actually a green book, which he used to show me, and it used to enable him to trace the name and finally name a plant that he wouldn't be familiar with. And I thought outside university nobody bothered with that kind of stuff, but Louis had it, and he was at it here. I used to see Louis in the afternoons in the evenings after class, and he'd have a slash hook, and he was down there clearing the woods. And he actually planted a section, it wouldn't be more than maybe 10 acres. He actually planted it with forestry type stuff.
And what kind of trees did he put into it? Did he put in
Well, he
the
put-
pines or different? Or
No, he put in cupressus, pine and cupressus type trees.
and it has matured now.
Oh, it had matured, and a lot of them have been cut away and, I presume, sold. We had, as you probably remember, that there was a wonderful array of yew trees. And if you look out to see the broad walk out there, the fountain and the broad walk, there was a tremendous array of yew trees when I came here. But there was a massive storm, an unbelievable storm, which uprooted all the trees. And Louis was in a terrible bad way over all of that. And finally, they got somebody from Donegal to come down to buy the trees. The yew seemed to be a wood that was good for carving, and it's quite specialised, really.
That big field down there is where we used to pick the potatoes longer.
That's correct. And I remember being out there with you guys. So anyway.
That was a hazardous occupation there.
And they were throwing rocks and spuds and every freaking thing. Half of them went back into the ground again, I think.
I'm surprised somebody wasn't killed down there.
Yeah, you don't remember, you should remember Christy Higgins.
I don't
Christy was the farm steward at the time.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, and the farmyard was going fairly well, and the farm was going well in those days too. Christy came here at the age of 17 from Monavey. And Christy said, I was so innocent, he says, and I hung up my stocking the first Christmas. And I got something in it, he says. He's a grand character.
That was a good one, yeah.
The kids were getting off buses out on the main road and walking straight across in front of traffic.
Yeah.
We never realised how dangerous it was until we had a video taken of it. And when we saw the video, we nearly collapsed.
All it takes is one accident.
Yes, we saw a huge big truck coming along, and he barely braked in time, and there was must be 5 or 6 young lads laughing, standing in the middle of the road. So the town engineer did nothing for us, and neither did anybody else. So I had hatched the plan, and I must say the governors and Father Alman agreed with it. And we had a FAW scheme here. We had 21 guys in a FAW scheme.
Oh, you got you.
Yes.
So we short.
We put them to work out there, and they built what was known as a bus lane. So the buses then came in, deposited the lads inside the gate safely, and then they came in through a specially made path through the woods. They didn't come in the main road because they'd be knocked down by traffic on the main road, so we diverted them through the woods, and it worked brilliantly. But then when the convent was built beside us, they had a new road built into the convent, and it was only 50 yards away from our school, so the buses came in that way. And so my bus road or my bus lane is just sitting there doing nothing. Still is good.
What happened to the convent downtown? Is that empty now, is it?
Yeah, convent was sold.
Sold. And who bought that?
Well, the urban council bought it. And they
There's
have
a
it as
Convent Mercy,
prime,
is it?
Convent
correct,
Mercy.
prime
That's a huge
site,
building. Yeah.
prime site,
Beautiful building.
beautiful building, and
That was the
everything.
old primary school. There was.
Well, the prime,
The secondary,
no,
the
the prime
secondary.
secondary school was there, but there
There was
was,
some more girls in there, yeah?
but way back in time they had an orphanage there, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a girl for girls, an orphanage for girls. Now it was.
That was
specific.
where the infant school was, wasn't it? The preschool.
Yeah, there was, but now the St. Grellan's operates both sides of the road. Oh yeah,
The old national school.
the old national school, and they're across the road in
And the old national school is still a national
I
school.
Still
couldn't.
there,
I couldn't believe it. Actually, this is the first time I've actually come up through. I come up as far as the golf club from where I am, and the first time I've ever actually come into the town. I couldn't believe all the
all the changes.
changes.